All right, let me position this. My ear is in. Make sure I say it's loud. Everyone can hear me. No disturbance. Okay, and as we know, today is Monday. And what does Monday bring? It brings love. It brings transformation. It brings inspiration. And it's Magical Monday because Mastery of Self, your girl, Tanasha Smith, registered therapist and author, brings you anything that is inspiring to uplift you, to not only want to be your best, but for me to inspire you to be your best. And so once again, I'm here to drop some gems for you to hear me out. And so last week I spoke to you about dropping in some themes that you think, some topics that you think we should be talking about. And one of them that I made sure that I decided to talk about today was low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. Where do I start? Well, the first thing I want you to acknowledge, welcome, greatness, beauty, welcome. The first thing we need to acknowledge is that low self-esteem don't just appear in our lives. It's actually from the stage of developing as a child. And it also stems from our trauma and life experiences that we have gone through and probably haven't healed. And so low self-esteem also means low confidence and low self-worth and beating up the self. And so when you start to deal with the underground matter, the root of the cause, you start to realize that the things that the negative thoughts that come into our mind are lies. They are lies, and they will always be lies until you start to speak life into yourself. But before you start to speak life, you have to actually believe in what you're speaking over your life. How do you start with that, Tanasha, as you may ask? Well, let's get to the nasty stuff, the hidden secrets nobody don't want to talk about. Because you see, these things that we have to deal with in our lives, these obstacles that come before us, don't just happen overnight. They actually grow and they fester. And sometimes it turns into other issues. And so I'll speak about myself. My story, which is in Once Broken, also found on Amazon and every other platform that there is that offers books. My story, Once Broken. In my story, I speak about having to go through the depression, but I don't think I actually go into detail as to how I spoke about myself. And that is bringing my energy low. I speak with my clients of how we have to get into the habit of keeping our positive energy, our vibrations high, which is because we are energy, we are light. And so to keep our spirits high, we have to keep ourselves at a high place. And so having to dig up all the things that took place in my life, meaning confronting the issues that I don't want to face, confronting the things that are not too happy to talk about. And so having to go through my sexual abuse, other things happen. I had to view my mother being abused by my dad physically. I had to watch people come into our home and threaten to take us into custody, which mean CAS. And so these things bring on fear and they bring insecurity. They also bring us down to feel that we don't have any self-worth. And when you're not praised as a child growing up, that also is something that hinders your self-esteem. And so as you may have known or may not know, my household was very toxic. Toxic in the sense that there was no praising happening in my house. But when I went to my grandparents, praise was always there. And I was loved, and the expression of love was shown to me. I was hugged, I was kissed, I was told how much I was beautiful, but it didn't sit with me Because the people who helped bring me into this world, which is my mother and my father, if they ain't telling me the same things that my grandparents telling me, I'm not going to believe it. And so this is where it starts. So if you're been brought up in the home with a mother or a father, or maybe even someone who has adopted you, it's important to praise your child. It's important to give them the tools they need to be successful. But once again, I may say that if they don't have it, they cannot give it to you. A wise person once said to me, they can't give you something they don't got, right? And so if they don't know better, they can't do better. And how do we fix that? You now have to unlearn the process of sabotaging your self-worth. You see, speaking life into yourself doesn't start by, someone complimenting you, because someone can compliment your lashes, your eyebrows, your hair, your complexion, your skills, your performance at work, or even at home from a sibling. But if you don't believe it yourself, that you are amazing, you are wonderful and just great, you are deserving to be loved, it's not going to be believable and accomplished. You can't accomplish anything from a place of doubt and fear. And so fear comes in and it tells us that we can't be powerful. We're not deserving of love. And so because of that, we stay stuck. Until we're unstuck, we're waiting for someone to come and root us out of this stuckness, this rut of I'm not able, I'm not capable. And so until somebody comes in and helps us, some of us will get the help and we don't even know what the help is, and we're not used to the help, so we can't accept the help. I'm here to tell you, no one ain't coming to save you until you're willing to save yourself. So low self-esteem comes from a place that is far beyond you. It starts from when you were born, when you were brought up, how you were raised. It starts from the place where you were damaged, you were hurt, and the pain that you're still carrying and you have not healed from. And so low self-esteem, to build yourself up, you got to speak into yourself. And so I had started on a journey through my healing process called mirror work. And if I could remember the author, I can't remember the author. And during my depression state, I picked up this book, and it was about being your best self. And there was a chapter in there about mirror work. And mirror work is you sit or stand in front of your mirror, and you have to look into yourself. And you have to tell yourself the things that you need to hear. But you also have to believe what you're hearing. And so, for example, I would look into I'm going to look into this camera, and I'm going to start speaking life into me. You are deserving. There's no one that has power over you. You can do all things in Christ. Amen. And so when you look in yourself, I want you to see greatness. I see greatness in you. I believe in my beauty within and out. I have the skills to either build an enterprise or to be a bum on the street. So I'm going to choose. I'm going to be a queen of kingdoms that are going to manifest the same thing that I'm manifesting now. I want my generation after me to be just as great and better. You see, speaking into yourself doesn't have to be, I am beautiful, I am great, I am confident, because I ams don't work for everybody. Speak to yourself the way you want to be spoken at. And so I was always rough with myself. I have to have like an assertiveness to when I speak to myself. I need it to be commanding. You own it, you deserve it, you will get it, and it's yours. I need it to feel powerful. And so when you are speaking life over yourself, you're also manifesting a thing. You're manifesting growth, you're manifesting healing, you're manifesting truth, you're manifesting peace, you're manifesting love. You want a spouse. Say, for instance, you're looking for a partner. Yes, it's COVID, but I'm telling you right now, there's possibilities in everything. I've seen a lot of things during COVID that people don't even know that is happening. And so when you're home, you're thinking, how am I going to be seen? Are you going on dating apps? Are you doing your healing? Because you don't want to meet your amazing person broken. And so this starts within yourself when you start to look at yourself and like what you see. You see, when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we only go there to see if there's any boogers in our nose and make sure the eye crust is gone. We wash, make sure, there's no pimples, or we're trying to make sure the face is all clear. We put on our makeup. we're not actually looking into ourselves. We're not spending time with ourselves. We're not trying to get to know who and where the beauty is within ourselves until we start to pause and make the time for us. Oh, the amount of things that we learn, the amount of things that we gain that we don't understand. You see, we always trying to find the love and the peace and the beauty outside of us when everything that we need is inside. God has given us every single thing that we need to survive in this world. And so what society has taught us to look outside of ourselves, to shop until we drop, to look for things that's going to make us look beautiful, to sign up to different, groups to feel like we're needed and wanted. You have to want and need yourself by yourself. Don't wait for someone to look at you and see your value. Look into yourself and see the value in you. You have to see the value, your worth. You have to see your worth and love what you see. We really aren't looking at ourselves. No, we don't look. And so when I was doing that mirror work, I started to realize I'm actually starting to see me. And let me tell you, it was very emotional. It was something so new and uncomfortable. And again, I've mentioned this before in my live. In order to move into a new thing, you got to get uncomfortable. You can't stay in the comfortable state. You got to get in the uncomfortable. And so I'm looking in this mirror, and the first thing I said, I love you. Yes, self-reflection. And when I said I love you, I didn't feel it. I started again. I love you. You are loved. All right. I start to feel something tingling inside of me. I said, I'm going to say it again. I love you. Tears start to flow. I said, I love you. And I didn't stop saying it. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I start to bawl because now I am believing what I'm hearing. Right? And so we're now looking for our parents to do the things that they didn't understand and didn't know how to do. And so because I didn't want to recreate the same generation, I am aiming and always will aim to be my best self, because I don't want to create what I was in, what I grew up in. I want my children to come and live in a new thing, but I have to break it first by finding me. I have to break it first by loving me. I got to break it first by knowing that I am who I am, and I will conquer all that God has given me. I have come to receive and attain all that belongs to me. So in order to build ourselves up, we have to first unpack the past. We have to unpack incidents, events, experiences that happened to us. We have to now accept them. Okay, you have to accept, because you acknowledge it, you now have to accept. And then the process of letting go. Those 3 steps, they sound simple, but it ain't easy, because as you're going through it, you have to feel the emotions and the roller coaster effects of it. And so the impact of it, you have to relive it. You have to go back there and relive all that you've been through. And so that has to happen. And some people don't want to face those things. They don't want to have to go through it, because why? Fear. But I promise you that when you start acknowledging and accepting and letting go, you birth out of an old thing and you become new all over again. And so when I speak a thing over my life, I start to believe it. I start to imagine it. I put myself there. If it's a new car, it's a new job, it is just a new field. Just discovering myself in the spiritual realm. I mean realm, in a sense that I want to now know myself in the spiritual world. What do I look like? What does God have for me? And so to get there, I gotta like what I see in the mirror. And if we ain't looking at ourselves, we ain't gonna ever look. Look into yourself and love what you see, and start finding who you are and fall in love with you. And if you've never fallen in love with you before, start today. And it doesn't mean you're being selfish, or you're being too proud, or you're being show off. No, you're going into a place called peace. And that is being happy with what you see in the mirror and being happy what you find, because we are uniquely made. And until we realize that, that is when we start to soar. That's when we start to evolve, because we cannot be the same. We all have to be unique, because we have been placed here to do a thing different than others. But we need to love on each other and come to a place of peace. And in order to do that, we have to learn to get along. And so I hope I covered that. The low self-esteem. Speak life into yourself. Speak your life. Manifest what you want for yourself. Even when you're down, you have to speak healing, complete healing from the top of your head to your feet. I am healed mentally. I am healed from my heart. My heart is healed. Even when you're going through the process of healing, you have to declare a thing, and you manifest it by owning it and knowing that it's going to happen. And so I hope that those words today inspired you. Speaking life over yourself, believing in what you say, learning and understanding the power of words can either break or it can increase. It can break or mold you and create a new thing. You decide what you're going to use your mouth and your words to do. But I encourage you, as you open your mouth in the morning, be grateful for what you are and who you are and what you have, for the little that you have, so that you can be blessed with much, much more. I hope that you were blessed today with the word of inspiration on low self-esteem. If you have any questions for me and you want this conversation to go a bit further, or you want a session with your girl, I am located at 134 Queen Street in Brampton, Unit 406. My telephone number is 905-218-3515. I can also be reached by email, which is masteryofselfinc@gmail.com. And you can reach me on Instagram, which is mastery_of_self, or on this platform, Facebook, Mastery of Self. I love doing what I'm doing. I have a passion to help people, and I come on here because I'm guided by God and no one else. And so I thank you for coming on here today and listening to me. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you next week when we speak on other topics to get to the root and the cause of things that are holding us back. May you be blessed and just keep doing magic with yourself, and turn your day around, because you're in control of you and no one else. God bless.